Chosen one. They built the system to stop people like you. But you didn't just survive it, you bent it. You walked through fire, and instead of burning, you lit up the path. The very rules they made to trap you, you flipped them. And now, even heaven is impressed. The world has systems, invisible cages made to control, limit, and silence greatness. From childhood, you may have felt it. The unspoken rules, the quiet pressure to fit in, the labels they tried to put on you. Whether it was at school, in society, in culture, or even in your own family, the moment you started showing your light, resistance showed up. That wasn't a coincidence. The system recognized your frequency. But here's what they never expected. You were never meant to fit in. You were coded differently. What was designed to block most people only sharpened your purpose. You felt rejection, but it made you wiser. You faced betrayal, but it made you bolder. While others fell apart under pressure, you turned that pressure into power. That's why the system you were supposed to lose in became the very thing you mastered. Think about it. How many times did they whisper, "You won't make it"? How many locked doors did you stand in front of, only to walk through walls instead? Chosen one, you didn't play by their rules, and yet you still rose. And not only did you rise, you did it in full view. Your victory is not just personal, it's spiritual. You proved that divine favor outweighs human control. Comment below. Have you ever felt the system was stacked against you? Did you notice how every time it tried to stop you, something higher pushed you forward? Let's talk about it in the comments, because your story will inspire someone else watching. And if this resonates, don't forget to like and subscribe to Chosen Destiny. Your spiritual family is right here. While you were battling in silence, crying behind closed doors, and wondering if anyone saw your pain, God was watching. Every single time they laughed at your fall, heaven was silent. Not because it didn't care, but because God knew you were about to rise. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. And now, your strength is the testimony. There are people right now who still don't understand how you're standing. They saw what you went through. They counted you out. They thought you were done. But what they missed was your covenant with God. You didn't come this far by chance. You were carried. Every scar, every setback, every silent battle, it was noticed by the Most High. And now He's elevating you publicly. You didn't just survive what tried to kill your joy. You turned it into wisdom. You didn't lose your light. You let it burn brighter. Do you know how powerful that is? That kind of transformation is rare, and it's the mark of someone who's truly chosen. That's why your presence disturbs systems. You remind people that power doesn't come from position. It comes from purpose. Have you ever felt like your breakthrough was spiritual, not logical? Like it couldn't have happened unless God Himself stepped in? If yes, drop a comment below and share your moment. Someone out there needs that reminder today. And subscribe to Chosen Destiny for more messages that confirm what your soul already knows. You were never alone in this. Chosen one, the world wanted to mold you, turn you into a replica of itself. But something inside you said no. You refused to become bitter, even when betrayed. You refused to copy others, even when it was easier. You chose the hard path, authenticity, and that's what shattered their system. Because the system is built on fear, control, and imitation. But your spirit was built on truth. You didn't need permission to be great. You didn't wait for validation. You walked into rooms where they didn't expect you, and you claimed space without saying a word. Why? Because your presence speaks louder than any title. You carry something ancient, something royal, something unshakable. And when people can't define you, they try to discredit you. But none of it worked, because you didn't become them. There were moments when you could have snapped, but you stayed calm. You could have stooped to their level, but you rose higher. That is power. Not the loud kind, but the sacred kind. The power to remain you in a world that tried to turn you into them. That's what impresses God. Not just your victories, but your integrity. Your refusal to compromise when no one was watching. Let me ask you this. What have you refused to become just to protect your soul? What did you walk away from, even though it looked easy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your discipline is part of your legacy. And while you're here, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Chosen Destiny, the place where your truth is celebrated. They underestimated your spirit. They thought a little gossip, a little rejection, some financial pressure would be enough to destroy you. But they didn't understand. You were built in silence. Before they ever came for you, you had already faced demons that they couldn't survive. What they threw at you was loud, but what you carry is eternal. Think about the seasons where you should have quit, where your bank account was empty, where no one supported your dream, where people walked away. And yet you woke up, stood up, and kept going. That's not normal. That's divine fire. Most people collapse when the pressure gets high. But you evolved. That's how we know. You're not from here. You're not just inspiring people. You're shifting energy. That's why the attacks were so personal. That's why the setbacks felt so brutal. Because the enemy saw what was on your life before you did. But guess what? You didn't just survive it. You impressed heaven with how you handled it. You stayed graceful under fire, and that's what turned your test into your throne. Chosen one, can you look back now and see how every attack trained you? How even the betrayals were blessings in disguise? If this section hit home for you, comment below with a yes. Let's show others that power doesn't come from ease. It comes from endurance. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Chosen Destiny, where warriors like you belong. What you've done isn't just for you. You are the first in your bloodline to walk this path, to say, it ends with me. The trauma, the poverty, the silence, the curses, all of it. You broke generational chains, and you didn't even know it while you were doing it. You just knew you couldn't live the way they lived. And so, you changed everything. That's why your journey has been so heavy. You were carrying more than your own pain. You were fighting spirits that ran through generations. But you didn't give in, even when it broke your heart, even when you had to walk alone. You kept pushing forward, not realizing that your obedience was healing the bloodline behind you and blessing the one ahead of you. You didn't just choose freedom. You became the blueprint, the example, the ancestor your future generations will thank. That's what's so beautiful about your life. Even the parts that felt wasted are now becoming wisdom. Your survival is someone else's roadmap. Your victory is someone else's prophecy fulfilled. You were sent to rebuild what was broken. Think about this. What cycles did you break that no one clapped for? What did you silently fix that no one even noticed? Comment below. Tell your story. Your voice might be the mirror someone else needs. And make sure to like and subscribe to Chosen Destiny, where healing meets purpose and pain transforms into legacy. The resistance was intense because the reward is eternal. You see, God never forgets a warrior. He saw your tears, your sacrifice, your silence. And now, He's moving on your behalf. Doors that were sealed are opening without explanation. People who ignored you are suddenly watching, and the very system that tried to bury you is now making room for your blessing. You don't have to chase what's already yours. What's meant for you will find you. Because you didn't manipulate, you aligned. You didn't scheme, you surrendered. That's rare, and that's why the favor coming your way is going to look like a glitch in their system. But it's not a glitch. It's God's hand, lifting you higher because you stayed low when pride whispered. Right now, heaven is scheduling divine appointments for you, places you don't even know about yet, conversations in rooms you've never stepped into, people watching your content, your light, your work, and being moved. You're not here by accident. You're in position. And the ones who once doubted you, they'll witness your rise and say, only God could have done that. Chosen one, are you ready for what's next? Do you feel the shift in the air? That silent confirmation that something big is aligning in your favor? Comment, I'm ready below if your spirit knows this is your time. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Chosen Destiny, because your destiny is unfolding right now in real time. The world measures success by status. God measures it by spirit. And your spirit? It moved heaven. Not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful. You kept walking when it made no sense. You loved when it hurt. You prayed when you felt empty. You didn't just survive the system. You bent it with your endurance. That is divine power. You impressed God, not by being loud, but by being real. Not by being flawless, but by being available. While others chased applause, you chased alignment. While others performed, you persevered. And heaven took note. That's why your life is shifting now. That's why the same system that tried to crush you is now confused by you. Because you weren't working for man's approval. You were walking with divine purpose. Let this sink in. God is proud of you. Not because you got everything right, but because you kept showing up. You didn't fold. You didn't fake it. You stayed true to your core. That kind of strength is rare, and it changes nations. You're not just a survivor. You are a spiritual architect, a trailblazer, a threat to darkness, a miracle in motion. Before you go, I want you to drop a comment. What part of this message hit your soul the hardest? Let's talk. Share your thoughts and encourage someone else reading. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Chosen Destiny. We're building something sacred here, and your voice, your journey, your spirit belongs. Chosen one, here's the truth they don't want to admit. You became what they feared. The system was built to contain energy like yours, but now you are the system. Not in the way they designed it, but in the way heaven ordained it. You carry an atmosphere. When you walk into a room, things shift. People feel something and don't know why. That's not coincidence. That's divine presence flowing through a vessel that's been refined. You don't follow trends. You set them without trying. You don't seek attention, but it finds you because your spirit speaks louder than words. That's why the system trembles now. Because you can't be bribed, bought, or bent. You already bent the system, and now you lead from a higher code. Integrity, vision, discernment, truth. These are your weapons, and they're more powerful than any rule or rank they ever made. Understand this. People now model themselves after your journey. Your silence speaks, your posture preaches, your authenticity pierces. You're not just influencing, you're awakening. There are souls who only dared to believe in themselves because they saw you doing it first. That's not ego. That's legacy. And it's just beginning. Because when God elevates someone, He doesn't just bless them. He blesses through them. Let me ask you this. What are you becoming that the old version of you couldn't even imagine? How does it feel knowing you are the standard now, not the outsider? Comment your thoughts below, because someone reading needs to see what's possible. And subscribe to Chosen Destiny. We're not just speaking to the chosen. We're building a new system of light, truth, and divine purpose. And you, Chosen One, are at the center of it. Chosen One, they tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. You bent their entire system, not by force, but by faith. And now, you're rising. This is your confirmation. This is your moment. You didn't just impress people. You impressed God. Like, comment and subscribe to Chosen Destiny. Your destiny is calling, and we're walking it together.